live here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Tony Stewart for a live Twitter chat. Tony, to get us started, we're going to ask you a question from IMS. You're obviously from Indiana. Speedway means a lot to you. What's your first real memory of this place?
Oh, man. And I don't even know how old I was, but I know I was pretty little. But I remember my father and I came up to the race, and then we came on a bus. And I remember that they brought a blanket and a pillow for me, and they put me up in the luggage compartment. And I slept all the way up here, and then on the way back, I was glad I was up there because everybody on the bus had obviously had a full day at the Speedway. So, but it was fun. I remember just absolutely loving being here, and was grateful my dad brought me.
So, how much would it mean to you to be a three-time winner here at the Speedway?
It'd be cool. I mean, obviously, my heroes won 4 here in an Indy car, so it'd be nice to get one step closer to him. So, having the opportunity to hopefully get to 4 one day would be a pretty cool deal for me.
And we'll start in on fan questions now, and this one comes from Sep1129. Was an attempt ever made to sign Kyle Larson as a development driver for Stewart Haas Racing before he signed with Ganassi?
No, and not because we wouldn't be interested in him, but we just didn't have an opening and an opportunity to put him in anything. So we don't have a nationwide program or a truck program, and that makes it a little harder for us to do something like that.
And this one comes from NASCAR Null. Do you really like soda cookies?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever dunked an Oreo in a glass of Coke. But yeah, it's got a little extra kick to it that way.
Okay, and SoCal Race Girl 14 asks, now that you have Zippy back, will he eventually be your crew chief again?
No, I mean the reason that we hired Zippy was to put him in a role as a competition director and help us try to build this team and continue with its growth. So there's a reason that we hired Zippy as a competition director, and that's to oversee all 3 teams.
Which restrictor plate race is the most challenging for you as a driver, and why? And this comes from Trevor Adams.
All of them. I'm not it's not a secret. This isn't something new as far as I don't like restrictor plate racing. I never have. And it seems like it's just more and more it's trying to keep from getting your car destroyed at the end of the day. So, I love Daytona. I love Talladega as racetracks. They're awesome facilities. I just don't like how the racing ends up. And I know people are excited about it and think it's exciting finishes, but they don't see what goes into building these cars, and then all of a sudden on the last lap it's a free-for-all, and one person starts into a crash and it collects half the field. So and I know because I've been that one guy that's started the major wreck last year at Talladega. So it's just kind of out of control. It's very wild and chaotic.
So here's an interesting one. What's the one thing your fans don't do that you wish they would?
One thing my fans don't do? My fans do pretty much a little bit of everything. No, I don't know. I mean, I like my fans. I mean, I like the people that follow us and that support us. I mean, they're just a different breed of race fan. I mean, I'm one of those drivers, you either love us or you hate us, but the people that follow us, they stand behind me 100%, and that's when you got fans like that, there isn't anything else you can ask from them. I mean, if I do something wrong, they'll stand behind me and have to defend me, and hopefully I don't give them too many reasons to have to do that. But our fans are pretty diehard to what we do, and I'm pretty diehard to what our fans believe in. So I think we're a pretty good combination.
LAL14 asks, we all know you're one of the most talented racers, but if you could have one talent that you don't already have, what would it be?
I would love to be able to play guitar really well. So I'd love to be a guitar player.
Diecast Reviews asks, do you plan on returning to the Indianapolis 500?
As a spectator, I'm sure, but I don't know. I mean, I've learned to never say never, but I would say it's highly unlikely that I'll get to come back and actually race the Indy 500. I've got a lot of responsibility with 3 Cup teams in North Carolina, and that's a busy weekend for us there as well. So it's not as easy as people think about coming back and trying to do the double duty. There's a lot that goes into that, and now with the responsibilities I have as a car owner, it may be too much load.
IMS Cat in the Hat expands on that and asks, will you be jealous if Kurt Busch races in the 500 next year?
No, I actually told him, I said I would come up and help spot for him. I know what this race is like, and I was excited that he got the opportunity to come up and test, and I hope he does. I hope he gets an opportunity to come up and race. I think he's a driver that could do really well with some time in the car. So there's no doubt in my mind he can drive the car. It's just knowing how the strategy of the race and what can happen during the race. Those are things that he hasn't experienced yet in an Indy car. So it is different than a stock car. So, but that would be pretty cool for him to have the opportunity. I think he would do well.
Team Lowe's 48 fan asks, how much does Indianapolis mean to you, and is it a top 5 favorite?
That guy obviously doesn't know anything about me to ask that question. It is everything to me. I mean, it always has been. I grew up 45 minutes south of here, so this place has always been the holy grail to me, and it always will be.
NASCAR SHR asks, Tony, I saw you at Eagle Raceway. When are you planning on coming back?
I think there might be a race on our schedule this year that we're still going to, so I would say there's a possibility that we're going to be back there. If my memory's right, I think there's one race that we have the rest of the year going back to Eagle, so looking forward to it.
And NASCAR CP11 asks, of the tracks you haven't won at yet, which one would mean the most?
There's two on the circuit, so Darlington's one, and Kentucky. And I would have to say Darlington because it's a Southern 500 and it's just got a lot of history. It's such a historic track to NASCAR that it would mean a lot to win a Southern 500 there.
Nursing Holly asks, have you taken Hank for a ride in a race car yet?
Hank has not been in a race car yet. He's a very faithful rider in a truck and rides in the airplane just fine, but I don't think I like my dog too much to want to take him in a race car.
This next one comes from Chimeska Designs. Tony, will you be coming back to Lawton Speedway next year? I was not able to attend, but I'd really like to meet you.
There's a good possibility. We'll have to see what the promoters want to do, and we'll have to see what the schedule is. A lot of it isn't just deciding whether we want to go or not. It's what our obligations are to sponsors and where we're at with the Cup Series that week. So we'll have to see when all the schedules come out, if we're available and can work it into the schedule.
All right, and Aaron Bairden asks, which of your 2 wins at Indianapolis Motor Speedway meant more to you and why?
They both meant a ton to me. I was probably more nervous on the first one. I didn't get a chance to enjoy the first one as much as I enjoyed the second one. The first one I was an absolute nervous wreck all the way till we crossed the start-finish line. The second one, I actually enjoyed it, and winning that first one probably made it easier to win the second one. So, but they're both evenly special. I mean, a win at Indianapolis is a win. It doesn't matter whether it was in an IROC car or stock car or whatever. It's to win here is huge.
Eileen Patchett asks, Tony, please explain for a dummy why it is important for a splitter to be so close to the track.
The lower you can get the car to the ground, it's doing 2 things. It's actually putting pitch in the car, which gives it more downforce, and the closer to the ground you get the splitter, the more of that air that's in front of the car that it forces over the top of the car and is creating more downforce because of that. So you want to get it as low as you can without dragging the ground. You would think dragging the ground would be good because it seals all the air off, but it takes the suspension away from the car. So it's a very delicate balancing act of shocks and springs and how low you can get the splitter to the ground and keep it there and have good ride quality.
KDR 1048 asks, Tony, what track does Indianapolis Motor Speedway remind you of the most on the Sprint Cup circuit?
It doesn't remind me of anything else on the Sprint Cup circuit. It's very, very unique. I mean, this track doesn't remind you of any track anywhere. It is a standalone facility that is unique, but everybody in the world knows what the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is and knows the layout here.
All right. Eric Wiegand asks, would it mean more for you to win another 400 or to see one of the cars you own win a 400?
As long as it's one of our cars, I would love for it to be me, but I'm not greedy. I would love to see our teammates have the same opportunity to win as we've had.
And final question from IMS. You know, Danica has an account, Ryan has an account, your team has a Twitter account. Do we see Ed Smoke on Twitter anytime in the future?
Negative. I would get in way too much trouble on Twitter because I have a really bad habit of calling out dumb people when they say dumb things. So, and I can come up with my own dumb comments on my own without having to be provoked a lot of times. So I'll just enjoy reading everybody else's great work, and I'll keep myself out of trouble that way.
Sounds like a plan. All right, thank you, Tony, and thank you to the fans for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys.